Daytona is upon us. The 2024 season is upon us. And now my bold predictions are upon us. Let's get started and let's get wild for the 2024 NASCAR season. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Stuck in the Catchfence. My name is Ryan Peters. This is the moment we've been waiting for since Ryan Blaney was crowned the champion. Let's get into it. We're going to get right into the very first of it. But thank you for tuning in, all you new subscribers for the 2024 season. Thank you. Welcome back. So glad to have you. We'll be having a live stream tomorrow night. Travis and Joe will be on it, and we'll break down everything that is Daytona while also being part of the watch party there for the second duel. So the first duel will happen. We'll talk a little bit about it, talk about what we expect out of Daytona, Mother Nature, stay with us, and also break down as the second duel is happening. So excited. Speed Weeks is here. Daytona is here. But more importantly, my bold predictions are here. So let's go ahead and get into it. This will be bold prediction number one. I think that the 2024 season is going to be the most competitive season yet. And you're going to say, man, the next gen car has already been competitive. How can it be even more competitive than it already is? And I'm going to tell you right now, because Chevy has already shown what it can do in the regular season. It's competitive. RCR has got Kyle Busch, who won 3 races last year. Hendrick Motorsports has already got the regular season all-time or wins person last year, and William Byron. Chase Elliott is going to come back and do what he does. Kyle Larson has already shown that he's one of the best, if not the best driver in the sport, and I think we're going to have a bounce back from an hopefully injury-free Alex Bowman. You already got the likes of Ross Chastain, who can make it to the Final Four this year. Chevy has already set the foundation with the next-gen car, been the most competitive, in my opinion, from top to bottom. Then you look at it from another standpoint, a brand new car for Ford. Where do they line up? Is RFK going to take another step forward? Will Brad Keselowski finally win a race this year? And is Chris Buescher shown that he's already a competitive driver and make it back into the playoffs? Can he get even further than he was before? Toyota, they make some changes. They also get a new car. Last time Toyota got a new car, what did they do? They won the championship. Christopher Bell made it to back-to-back Final Fours. Denny Hamlin, can he finally get over the hump and make it back into the Final Four and win the championship? Martin Truex Jr., it might be his last year. I know we said that for 3 years now. It might be his last year. Is he going to have one last ride to get into the Final Four and win his second championship? And then Ty Gibbs, the best prospect in all racing. Not to mention 2311 switches from Chevy, where they said that they were a third-tier racing team, and now are with Toyota. You got John Hunter Nemechek. You got Eric Jones back in the fold. 2311 is going to make some noise this year. I think they're going to be better than what people think. And if you go ahead and look at the broad landscape of where we are in racing, I think that Spire Motorsports is going to elevate its game and be even more competitive than what it has been. They've shown that they put the money in. They got young drivers like Zane Smith, Carson Hocevar. Might be one of the best rookie of the year that we've had in a while. I thought last year might have been that, but it just hasn't shown the case. Is Noah Gragson going to take a step forward from what we thought was going to be a competitive rookie? Speaking of last year's Rookie of the Year race, and be more competitive at Stewart-Haas. Stewart-Haas has shown a new vision. Tony Stewart said last year sucked. The last 2 years have sucked. That's not who we are. We hang banners. We've not done that. Is that new vision with the new Dark Horse car? Can they show more competitiveness on a daily basis, on a Sunday basis, and bring up and elevate that? You look around, there's just really not a whole lot of teams outside of Colleague that have kind of taken steps back. It seems like everybody's getting talent. Everybody's becoming more competitive. 2311 last year was really good. They almost had a driver making it to the Final Four with Tyler Reddick. Bubba Wallace had his best season ever and advanced to the round of 12. Do they find and get on that 5-year path and maybe accelerate it a year early in year 4 and see Tyler Reddick in the championship 4? There's so many storylines. There's so many solid drivers out there, and this car has been the equal to bring everybody closer together when it comes to what these teams have to work on. And I think you're immediately going to see people like a Corey LaJoie could just go out and win the Daytona 500, or the very next week at Atlanta, where he's boasted a top 5 before. I can make a case for so many drivers about being competitive, being good. And I've even done that. I've done that with the series, making the case for it, because I honestly think that's why I started that this year will be the most competitive we've seen. I know Joe last year made the made the prediction that he thought there would be more than 16 winners. I don't know if I'm willing to say that yet, but I think it's close. I think there's going to be so many drivers that on a weekly basis we go, yeah, it could be them. Or we just get surprised in practice, or we get surprised in qualifying. You got 2 brand new cars who are automatically going to be competitive. And Chevy, the team that doesn't have a brand new car from top to bottom, has been the best in this sport. I think 2024 will be the most competitive season we've had yet. And when it comes to the Final Four, it could be an absolute shocker and an absolute wild card who is able to put together in that final 3 races before we get to Phoenix. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. Speaking of the Final Four, who doesn't get in? Well, that brings me to bold prediction number 2. Kyle Larson, I think, will take a step back by not making it into the Final Four. And here's the reason why I believe that is. First off, all you Kyle Larson fans, please give me a second. Kyle Larson has high limit racing this year. That's his own thing that he bought and turned in with he and his brother-in-law, Brad Sweet. I think that's going to take a lot of time that he's going to invest interest in that. He's going to invest money into that. He's going to want to see that prosper. Kyle Larson has a huge racing schedule, the most busy racing schedule out of all professional drivers, at least on the NASCAR circuit. That is going to take so much time, so much energy. So you got a vested interest financially. You got a vested interest on what he likes to do. I honestly believe he would rather race dirt than he would racing in stock cars if it paid more. And then I already talked about the most competitive season we've ever seen. Kyle Larson had a lot of DNFs last year because Kyle Larson tries to get the most out of his car. That's what makes him such a good driver, is that he pushes the car to the limits. I think in the round of 8, he'll do that one too many times, and he won't find himself in the championship four. Now, again, this is a bold prediction. Okay, this isn't a I'm going to make a silly prediction, or I'm going to make a half a prediction that doesn't really set that edge. Isn't really that doesn't really move the needle. I think if Kyle Larson doesn't make the Final Four, by far Kyle Larson views it as a failed season. But I think that would shock a lot of people if most people believe the best driver in the sport today doesn't make it to the Final Four. So for that reason, I'm going to say I just don't know if Kyle Larson can be as consistent as he needs to be to make it to the Final Four. So that is my bold prediction number 2. And now, this is where the fun begins. Let's listen to what I believe will be the Final Four. This is a Tuesday night in February. You're watching this on a Wednesday. Go back when we're in Phoenix. It's in November. And you can say, Ryan, you're absolutely crazy. On a Tuesday night in February, I'm going to tell you that before the Daytona 500 even begins, who I think will be in the Final Four. So let's kick it off. Sitting on the pole is this driver right here.
30-year-old from Prosper, Texas, which, by the way, has a population of 30,000, is going to win in front of more here in Richmond. Buescher wins. Buescher is going to do it. He goes back-to-back. He'll win in Michigan.
And the dream season for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing continues. Rick, you mentioned it. 3 wins in the last 5 races. Who saw this coming?
That's right. Chris Buescher. As Dale Earnhardt Jr. called him, Christopher Buescher will make it to the Final Four. Christopher Buescher, RFK, that needle is the level of competitiveness is rising and rising and rising. He won 3 out of 5 races last year. He had a career best year. Brad Keselowski is coming along with him. I think Brad Keselowski, as he's getting long in the tooth, Christopher Bell is showing what type of a driver he can be and put in the right equipment. He's stuck around with it. He's got a brand new competitive car, RFK, everything. If we're doing stocks, it's going up. Christopher Buescher last year proved to us not only can he be good, Christopher Buescher can be dominant and one of the most ascending teams. And we've seen it. We've seen the process. Since Brad Keselowski, say what you will about him, he has come to Roush Fenway and helped set up a plan and is nothing but went positive. Now, they've had a few stumbles on the way. They've done some things where, they altered a little bit of this and they did a little bit of that. But when it comes to seeing the drivers in the race car outside of the clash, they have done tremendous. And I think Christopher Buescher puts it all together this year. Ford's got to have somebody, right? Like I know you can pick Logano, I know you can pick Blaney, and that's probably the wise thing. But these are bold predictions. These aren't wussy or put another letter in front of that predictions. These are bold predictions. And I boldly predict Chris Buescher will be there in Phoenix with a chance to win a championship. Now, if that's not bold, then you tell me what's bold. I think that's a great pick. I can't wait to see Christopher Buescher this year. I might even have to go buy some merch of Christopher Buescher. I enjoy the guy. Seems like a humble guy from Prosper, Texas, the little small town of Prosper, Texas. I think he'll be there in Phoenix. Now, that's bold prediction number one. How much bolder can we get? Let's go to prediction number two.
Goes to Kyle Busch.
That's right. How about you, RCR and everybody? Kyle Busch.
Here comes that bow bit, Clint.
Pole sitter, fastest car.
That's right. It's not that bold. It's my guy. Now, some of you might say it's bold. Some of you might say it's crazy. Some of you wouldn't even get this flag right here because he's at RCR. And RCR is not that great. But I believe my guy Rowdy is going to be taking some bows this year. And I think he'll be in Phoenix in the Final Four. The thing that has to change for RCR is the short track package. Now, we've seen that Kyle Busch has been talking about that last year. Last year was the integration of what he can do. If Brad Keselowski can turn around RFK, you're telling me that one of the most cerebral drivers and all the sport, one of the smartest guys that's in the garage every week in Kyle Busch can't turn around RCR? I believe this year it happens. 3 wins last year, kind of fell off towards the tail end, but I think this year is the year where maybe we don't see the 4 to 5 to 6 wins that we saw out of Kyle Busch, but the consistency. I want the consistency. I want the speed. I want to be able to not wreck in qualifying or practice. I think that happens. Kyle Busch even talked about the fact that he had to change his approach with the next-gen car. And if there's anybody that I believe that knows what the hell they're talking about when it comes to driving something with 4 wheels, I believe it's my guy, the one and only, not the candy man. He's the nicotine man this year. I believe it's going to be Kyle Busch. And I personally, and I know people don't want to hear this, I personally hope I get to see him go for the 3-time. That would be a dream come true. As you know, my sports, there's a Cincinnati Reds poster right there. I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan. Don't have none of that stuff. But Kyle Busch is my guy. He's my savior. He's the only thing that's ever brought me a championship. I'm not willing to say he'll bring me a championship this year, but I think Kyle Busch is going to find a way to reinsert himself back at Phoenix for the first time in 3 years. And I see him, it actually might even be over 3 years, in a few years. Let's just say that. Let's just say that so the fact checkers don't go nuts in the comments. In a few years, I think Kyle Busch is the guy this year that will be in Phoenix. He's half of him with Christopher Buescher. So it brings me now, let's see who number 3 is.
Elliott, with the help of Jones, he surges ahead. Jones moves to the inside. Elliott has the lead. Chase Elliott through the dog leg. Blaney with momentum. He's not going to get there. Elliott's going to win in Talladega.
Next year, but I appreciate everybody's support. Through this season, it hasn't been what I would want by any means, but certainly going to be some lessons taken from it, and I think we'll be better for it on the other end.
That's right. The most popular driver in the sport, if you believe in polls. I just made a video of him shortly, which I'll put there at the end if you want to watch it, on the case for Chase being a championship contender. You heard it in his voice just now. He said, we got a lot to learn from, and it only sets our eyes for next year. And that is the case this year. Chase got to watch his teammates do what he's been doing, and that's succeeding at a monumental level, watching the most wins when it comes to William Byron, watching the most competitive driver when it comes to Kyle Larson. Chase now looks at himself at what was the top dog, at what was the top prospect, at what was the Jeff Gordon, now possibly sitting on the outside looking in as the third best driver. I don't believe it. I think Chase Elliott is way too talented and he needed a fire under his butt. And I've talked about it at length. He is going to show why he is one of the best drivers in the sport. I mean, he's been that close to being a multi-time champion. And I think this year he takes it back. I don't know if he'll win the regular season championship. I'm not willing to say that yet. I think that he will be one of the most competitive and consistent. Chase Elliott is consistent. That's one of the best things about Chase. Is he has the opportunity to get it in victory lane every week, but at the same time, he kind of has that Mark Martin consistency where it doesn't really matter. You know, Chase Elliott can go to Darlington and win. Chase Elliott can go to a road course and win. Chase Elliott can be a super speedway driver and win. He's a total package when it comes to skill sets on all courses. I think that's going to happen this year. I think you're going to see it. He's in the right team with Hendrick. He's got the motivation that he needs. Does he have that championship drive? I think that interview at the end of the regular season last year at Daytona shows that. And I think he spent all of offseason watching what was his worst season yet. And I think we see Chase Elliott at Phoenix with a chance to race for his second championship. So that leads now, drum roll, to who I think is going to be the 2024 champion. Let's see it.
Frustration is Kyle's never showed his face in the garage in 10 years. He's an analyst, but it's not a very informative one because he doesn't know anything.
Yeah, it's a tantrum, and he shouldn't be racing next week. Right rear hooks are absolutely unacceptable. I don't care. It's same thing Bubba Wallace did with Kyle Larson. The exact same. He shouldn't be racing.
You know I beat your favorite driver again, right?
Let's see it. That's right. I'm going villain. I'm going heel. I'm going full art. You can say, Ryan, you've been watching too much NASCAR full speed. Ryan, you're buying in on the hype. Ryan, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. There's no way that anybody is going to let Denny Hamlin win the championship. And right now, it just seems like the stars have aligned. Fate has worked its way in. He's beaten your favorite driver before. He's beaten your favorite driver already this year. Does he have enough to beat your favorite driver at the end of the year? I think this year is the year. Denny Hamlin is a tremendous driver. Denny Hamlin is a Hall of Fame driver. Denny Hamlin has won over 50 races in his career. Denny Hamlin has worked through things. He's become now an owner. He's the top dog. When it wasn't that, it was Kyle Busch at JGR. Now he's learning to be the top dog at Toyota, at Joe Gibbs Racing. He's got a lot of teammates out there. Toyota's got a brand new car. Toyota's got brand new teammates that'll help him at super speedways. Denny Hamlin and his dad are going to be able to crack open that box at the end of the year and have that victory cigar as the greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan, comes down, sits with Denny Hamlin's dad, and enjoys that cigar as they both look on to Denny Hamlin holding that championship trophy. This is the year. 2024 is the year, and I can't wait for the storylines. I love Kyle Busch. I want Kyle Busch to win as many races as possible. I'm so disappointed he's not the villain anymore. I don't know if he wanted that role, but he understood it. He accepted it. Dale Earnhardt, he understood it. He accepted it. I don't know if he really wanted it, but he knew the sport needed it. Like WWE, and hopefully this is not scripted, but the sport needs they need the characters. They need the personalities. They need somebody to hate as much, if not more, than they need somebody to love. The people that boo the loudest are the reason why I love this sport. We've already seen tempers flare between Joey Logano and Ty Gibbs. I can't wait. We've already heard as soon as Denny got out of his car after winning the Clash, you could hear a man, F you, Denny Hamlin. I'm all for it. Let the boo parade begin. Let Denny Hamlin live as the villain you love to hate and let him hoist the trophy at the end of the year. That is my final bold prediction. Denny Hamlin, your 2024 champion. Now, let me know what you think. Am I nuts? Am I crazy? Yes. But are these feasible? Are they reasonable? Are they possible? Matter of fact, are they probable? You let me know. What do you think in the comments below? If it's your first time here, like and subscribe to the channel. I would love that. Love to talk NASCAR. Again, we're going to have a live show tomorrow night, or excuse me, on Thursday night. No, I'm so confused. This is Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Thursday. Live show. We'll be there. The three of us talking NASCAR in the middle of the duels. You'll be race ready. Hopefully, Mother Nature holds off for the weekend. If you want to find other ways to join us besides on YouTube, here's the ways you can connect: Facebook, Patreon, and Rumble. Those are all there. Appreciate you being here. But again, subscribing's easy. All you have to do is press the button and you get the most NASCAR entertainment and you get to be part of the conversation among all of us passionate NASCAR fans. So I can't wait. I'm ready to rock and roll. Let me know your bold predictions below. I'll read them. I'll respond to them. I'll let you know if, hey, I think that's a good case, or I think you're just as crazy as me. But we'll find out. My name is Ryan Peters. This is Stuck in the Catch Fence. God bless. Until next time.